Hey guys, Edrumcenter here. We're going to talk about the ATV Expanded Kit with the AD5 Module. And we'll probably also talk about how the Expanded Kit works with other modules as well towards the end. So let's start off with, what is this kit? It's an ATV Expanded Kit with the AD5 Module. No, it's an electronic drum kit with larger shell sizes and electronic cymbals with larger sizes. The AD5 module. This isn't our first rodeo with this configuration,
No.
but this is our first time getting our hands on one after we're the distributor for ATV. So I figured it was a good time to redo it. Did we ever do an unboxing video for the?
I think you had one for the EXS.
The EXS series. Yeah, I don't think we ever did one for.
Yeah, I didn't see one
kit.
when I was looking.
So that's another reason.
I've set up and used one of these before. But
Yeah, but we've never done a deep dive, kind of like with our new format on this particular kit, like we have it in last 8 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like, let's go ahead and cover what the kit comes with. So you get 18-inch kick drum. You get 13-inch snare, two 10-inch toms, 13-inch floor tom, and you get the 18-inch ride, 14-inch hi-hats, two 16-inch crashes. You get all the stands, the two tom cymbal stands and a cymbal stand.
no hi-hat stand, right?
No hi-hat stands included.
No kick pedal.
But it does have the
Obviously.
snare stand, correct?
You do get a snare stand.
Yeah.
So you will need hi-hat stand,
Kick pedal.
kick pedal,
Throne.
drum
Throne.
throne, headphones,
Sticks.
drumsticks,
Yeah.
Yourself.
And I think our website says all that
Don't
stuff.
have to have that.
If you need any of that stuff, we do sell it. So, as far as it does come with that's pretty much it. That's all. It does come with the stand. It's a little mount for the module.
Mm-hmm.
I
Just come with
had. Do you remember? I had a little trouble setting that up, and you'll probably see that in the video. Because remember the module wasn't sitting right, but I had the attachment upside down.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's something that might need to, the little holes in the back and the way I put it on, it was backwards, and I was like, this is not mounting on the thing right. And then I was like, oh, so turned it around, worked perfectly.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, that's the next thing we're going to talk about is, setup, any tips and tricks that you found. You were the one who mostly set this kit up.
I'm looking up a picture right now of what it's supposed to look like. I don't like directions, just heads up. So, I never read instructions on setting these things up until I have to. So I just wanted a picture of what it looked like there. So with that said, it was a pretty easy setup, all in all, other than the what I ran into with the module mount,
Yeah.
and I just had it backwards. So.
Yeah, it sets up just like a drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to note on the hi-hat that is pretty important is do not take the clutch off of the hi-hat when you first get it. Some people just do that like without even thinking. You're like, oh, cool, this is clutch. I'll take it off. Well, the clutch is fairly critical on how a hi-hat works. So do not take that clutch off unless, instructed to by us or something. Should be left alone.
You're saying it should be a dedicated clutch to that hi-hat?
Well, the clutch
What
that
do you-
comes with it is specific to it.
Oh,
You
so-
can't use just any clutch.
I got you. Yeah, I was.
The way that the hi-hat works, it's an optical sensor, which requires you to plug into AC power. That's another thing that's, some people might not know. So you have to plug in the module and the hi-hat, and the reflector plate is on the bottom of the clutch, screwed onto it. So, as far as I can tell, you have to use that clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not necessarily a downside, but just something to know about,
Sure.
be aware of.
Yeah, the clutch works fine.
When you get any electronic kit, maybe check your mesh head tensions to make sure they're tight enough. Sometimes they can loosen up in shipping, and for sure they can loosen up while playing. That's a initial thing you want to check. If the stuff's too loose, you just won't trigger. You won't get as good a trigger.
Right.
Or it'll actually on a kick drum double trigger if it's not making good connection. So make sure your heads are tensioned up. Don't over tighten, because then you'll rip your head if you go way too tight. Don't want to do that.
I've heard of people doing that. So
Yeah. We have all the replacement heads in stock should you need them. They will wear out eventually.
there's also heads on the bottom of the drums. They could flip those if they
Yeah,
wanted.
that's true. So you have built-in redundancy there. As far as I can tell, the main thing on setup, the setting up the kit, placing everything, was pretty straightforward. Getting the kit to work with the AD5 module was the trickier part.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about these drums and these cymbals is they will work with pretty much any module that we sell, except for maybe Yamaha.
Yeah.
I think Yamaha will work with the drums, but not with the cymbals, as far as I can tell.
Which is good because it's a really good feeling kit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
really
So
responsive pads and all that.
most of these that we sell, the expanded kits are being packaged with Mimic Pros. I mean, probably by far, right?
Yeah.
But the 85 that comes with this particular thing, configuration is actually a pretty good module. I think it's a good sounding module. It does work with the 80, obviously with these.
This one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works with these pads and cymbals.
Not real versatile as far as like it's got 5 kits on it, right?
Yeah.
From the factory, yeah. So you get 5 kits out of the box. When you register for the ATV Sound Store, you get a bunch of free sounds and 12 extra kit files that you can download. You can also pay for more sounds as well on the Sound Store, and so immediately you get a lot more sounds.
But having said that, the 5 kits are on are pretty practical. You know, I would,
Do you have a favorite?
what was the very last one? I think
Was
it
it
was
Real
like
Groove
vintage
or
something.
something?
I think I had like vintage in it.
Vintage?
I think. I should have wrote that down. Oh well. Yeah, it was the very last one, kit 5. I liked it the best. I think it had like the HHX hi-hat or the Legacies or whatever.
Yes.
Samples, because the samples sound good because they're actually sampling real drums, correct?
Correct.
So they're, some of the cymbal sounds are really good. The drum sounds are really, really good, I think.
Yeah. I think it's got really good toms. Toms are they sound like toms and they're responsive.
Yeah, they're probably my favorite toms of any module, honestly. Maybe Mimics are
Yeah, the
same
85
bar, but the toms sounded really cool.
I think something that got you the other day was like the bass drum has 2 different samples in it. So if you
Yeah.
bury the beater,
Probably more.
it will make but 2 distinctive sounds that you can hear.
Yeah.
On 2 of the kits that have more of a resonant type kick drum, it'll have, if you bury the beater, it'll have like a choked sound, and if you hit it and get the beater off of it, play off of the head, it has more of a resonant sound, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. That was the first kit I can think of that had 2 sounds just that easily to notice without any editing or anything.
Well, I've heard it before in one other kit, but I think, but ATV is definitely the first time I've ever heard the 2 samples at the same, or 2 samples on one drum before like that on the kick drum.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice effect for sure. It seems super usable.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's a way you can change how much of the effect there is.
We should definitely look more into that.
I'll say the snare drum wedge works pretty well.
It does. It's very unsophisticated, but it works.
You don't plug it in. It doesn't have a separate thing, but I was doing cross sticks on it, and it was getting the cross stick sound.
Yeah, it works. I was like, how's this doing this so well? There's really not a whole lot going on here, but it does work quite well.
And it's raised, so you're going to get a good Because my problem with cross sticks on some other brands that don't have the wedge on it is sometimes you get a cross stick sound and sometimes you accidentally
It's
don't.
pressure sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, on those. On most modules.
Some of the ones that just have the rubber rings, it's just kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I just get a snare sound. I'm like, that's not what I was going for there. So I have to. I can't do it like a real drum to where I have some of the stick on the mesh head and then I'm
Right.
hitting the. I have to keep.
The Roland Digital, I think, is the only one that actually senses your hand and changes the
Oh, okay.
sound.
Yeah.
Most of them, it's more of just the traditional.
But this one works really good. Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a rim sound. And
Starting to look like a kit.
Starting to look like it.
I really like the looks of these.
Piano black.
Piano black with black rims.
Yeah.
And one thing we noticed the other day was how the badges are adhered on rather than bolted or screwed or anything.
Yeah, it's nice to like kind
It's
of
really
metal etched badges. It doesn't look like a cheap kit. It
No.
looks like, a nice piece of equipment. The stands are heavy duty, double raced. I don't have any complaints about the kit itself.
Mm-mm.
The ATV cymbals are like some of the best cymbals in the industry right now.
Yeah, I like that you get 2 16s with it. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's not a really loud kit.
No, it's not.
Particularly, it's actually one of the quieter ones I've played. It's not silent, but I mean, it's far, like even the cymbals aren't the loudest ones I've played.
No. They have a little bit of give to them, but they're also firm enough. They're kind of a nice balance between quiet and still being good to play.
Yep.
Good feeling. Yeah, we sell lots of the ATV cymbals just by themselves, as well as with kits. So just like they're pretty much of a home run product. The hi-hat, as far as like kind of going back to setup thing, it seems like the hi-hat was the hardest thing for us to get dialed on this module.
Mm-hmm.
And this, we became the ATV distributor, April of this year, and it had been a year and a half between when we had a kit last and now. I had a lot more hands-on with Mimic Pro and expanded kits. Mimic Pro with the ATV hi-hats, amazing experience.
Yeah.
I think it is just a little bit better overall than this, and I'm not sure why exactly that is, other than maybe it's the sound. I don't know exactly. It just seemed you can get a little more dialed in with the Mimic Pro. With this, you go through the setup wizard, and then like you really kind of have to just get in under the hood. There's a lot of different settings once you get past the initial setup things that make huge differences.
Yeah.
As far as what we could tell.
We were able to get the hi-hat dialed in pretty well. We just kind of we had to figure it out first. But I mean, once we did, it wasn't terrible. But I was,
It's definitely not plug and play. You expect a plug and play experience with these, with the 85 or with any other module for that matter. Like these work with Roland's, work with Mimic Pro, but you're gonna have to get in there and kind of get under the hood and get them tweaked, as opposed to like say buying a Roland T17 KVX where you just plug it in and everything kind of works for the most part.
Yeah.
You have to get a little more under the hood.
I mean, you might like the way it plays out of the box, but I don't know. There was a couple things we had to fix, and it wasn't. I wouldn't say fix, but it was just kind of dial in a little bit more to our liking.
Yeah, once we discovered, what the modules want us to do, is pretty straightforward.
Uh-huh.
If you guys have any questions on the setup for these, we're gonna have one of these set up at all times to do testing and troubleshooting with. So we're here to help. And ATV support is also really good in Japan. ATV Global Support. So, is there anything like you guys, we've been playing on this thing for what, a week and a half, 2 weeks now,
Yeah,
trying to
about
get
that.
as much time in as we could before this shoot. So anything you guys want to bring up?
I mean, you know, I don't think anything I haven't said already as far as playability. I think again, I think it is a really good feeling kit. It feels very natural. Like I said, it's very quiet. The sounds, the samples sound realistic because they are sampled from real sounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it sounds good studio quality sounds on some of them.
They were done in studio.
Yeah.
I mean, they recorded them in a pro studio. In the sound store, all the sounds on there are samples. So
And that's with that module. You
Yes.
know, you could use the Pearl Slate stuff.
yeah, Pearl
The Mimic.
works with these. Pretty much any of the Roland modules, the current Roland modules will work. Obviously, there's no digital on this, so you'd use the analog inputs on a 50 or a 27. We haven't not tested it with the Gava module yet.
Right.
But yeah, for the most part, it's a good platform. Works with multiple modules, and I still feel it has a really good place in the market for sure.
Do they only do black
Currently, yeah,
currently?
yeah. We have meetings, or actually, I have the meetings with the Japanese, and we talk about colors and options and stuff like that. So I'm actually all for coming out with some different colors, but
But black, you know,
black goes with
it's
everything.
Yeah, it's very. It's a handsome
It's a
kit.
super safe color to be the
Yeah,
one color you.
It's slimming.
So we talked about the sound store. As far as like stock on these, we of course, if you watch this in 6 months, this is gonna be a little different. But we're getting these in a fairly large amount, middle of this month, November 2021, and we're gonna hope to have supply going forward now that we're the U.S. distributor. So if you have any questions about that, get in contact with us. We'll put a bunch of links down below to the kit, this particular kit, the different configurations and stuff. As far as if you guys want to buy one, we'll put the links in there for that. So anything else as far as like
I mean, it's a fun kit. I like it, the way it feels. I'm a big fan of the ATV stuff. Module's not my favorite. It's not bad, just not my favorite. But
it's probably one of the older modules that we sell
Yeah.
currently. I think it came out in.
I think
14.
definitely for the people who are able to pair this with the Mimic Pro, that's a solid kit. The ATV stuff just works so good with the Mimic Pro. And the Roland stuff too, but it just seems like Pro almost made their module for ATV, how well it works.
Well, they definitely when I visited the Pearl warehouse over in Nashville, it was pre-pandemic at this point. They had a bunch of ATV cymbals there that they were doing some testing with, and I think it was after that all the ATV cymbals got added to the Mimic Pro module as far as actual
Pad types.
pad types. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't add the drums
The drums are on there.
in the Mimic Pro.
Mhm.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
It's possible. We'll double check.
It's either that or it's one of those files I've been downloading to Mimics that has those pad types.
Yeah, they're
'Cause
not.
I know
hard
I've
to
seen
get
the I
dialed
know
in
I've seen
at
the
all.
10-inch tom at least.
They're very easy to get dialed in on.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, overall I like that kick drum too. It feels really good.
Yeah, it's not too bouncy.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not acoustically
There's a bunch
loud
of foam. I took one apart.
Either. Yeah.
On the batter side, there's a pretty solid like piece of foam kind of butted right up against the
I
head
like to do
itself.
that with acoustic drums, just like some people don't like anything in their drum. I like it just for the firmness of the
Yeah,
of the kick, the way it feels. I feel like I get a better response personally.
it feels
So
better
that's
and it
why I
cuts
like
down
that.
on volume.
Yeah.
On this particular thing.
Yeah, going back to this is a fairly quiet kit as far as the mesh head market goes.
Yeah, the kick drum is an all mesh kick, but it's got that that foam backing, and it's I would say it's significantly quieter than like a Roland.
I really like that the ride bell just works.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that's always the hardest thing for
Yeah.
drums to get perfect, and they seem to got it. You hit the ride or the bell, and it just triggers. You don't have to do anything funky or anything.
For sure. Here we're doing some more walking around.
Look at that thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a good
pretty.
looking kit.
It's pretty kit.
Yeah. There's that wedge.
Yeah, here in
Snare.
a second, I think we got a couple playing. What was playing them? Seconds. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about how any of this works or how it compares to other brands we sell, happy to help with that. Oh, and on this particular, with the 85, it comes with a cable harness, so you don't need any cables. Comes with everything you need.
I think it might have came with one extra cable too.
I
Didn't
think
it?
that's for the second crash.
Oh, I thought there was an extra one down there. It seems like I set up everything and they had an extra one. I might be wrong.
It might be right. I think this is like dialing in the hi-hat type situation. I think this is one of your things. I was just walking around like in the new shop,
Yeah.
just like, oh, Andy's playing the kit. So yeah, we're pretty much wrapping this up. If you guys have any questions on anything, or if you just want to place an order, get in touch. Thanks. We'll talk soon.